What's up, YouTube? I'm Liora Sophie, and I make videos about writing and about being an author in general. And this video is not specifically AuthorTube related, but it is sort of related to my self-care and how I'm able at the moment to even just be an author, mainly. So a few people have asked me if I can give them any tips on how to get help from Bituach Leumi, which is the Israeli branch of national insurance. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So the first thing you need to know if you are applying for Bituach Leumi is the process can take several months, and probably will. And in the meantime, there are a couple of things you can do while they are, I don't know, probably going through a lot of other cases. So one of the things that you can do to get a little bit of financial relief is unemployment. If you have been fired or let go from your job, if you had a job up till now and you quit because of your disability, you can get help from the unemployment office. And the first thing you should do is file for unemployment. Now, this process can be a little bit confusing because, on the one hand, it's the Office of Bituach Leumi that pays the unemployment, but it's a different office that handles the actual file. So let me just clear it up for you and help you figure out exactly what you need to do in order to get your unemployment. So the first thing you need to do is, first, you need to file your claim with Bituach Leumi. That is the first step, because that's the step that kicks off the entire process. That is the beginning of the process, and from when you do that, it can still take several months. So first, file your Bituach Leumi claim, then file for unemployment. Now I'm going to go quickly through how to get the unemployment, because it's actually pretty easy, and then we're going to go through how to file your claim with Bituach Leumi. So the first thing you want is Ta'asukah's website, and that link is going to be down in the description. You're going to get this website, ta'asukah.gov.il. You're going to click on it, and if you have never filed for unemployment before, you're going to register, which is this right here, Rishum la Ta'asukah. They're going to ask you for your name, your last name, your Teudat Zehut. You want to have your Teudat Zehut sitting next to you during this entire process. They're going to ask you, because they're going to ask you this thing, the date of when your Teudat Zehut was printed, and that is, by the end of this process, I knew it by heart, but that's how many times I had to write it. So you're going to just follow the instructions. Yes, it's going to always ask you for, it's going to ask you for all these details. You say yes, I agree to the terms, yes, fill in all your information. They're probably going to ask you about previous workplaces, about what your job is. It doesn't really matter so much. Just what they want to see is that you had a job, and that's all. Now, documents you're going to want to prepare for this are any pay slips you have from the last 15 months, and a letter saying you were fired. If you have it from more than one workplace, wonderful. And if you have a 161 form, you should get that. Now, if you don't, you should know that your workplace is required by law to give this to you after you leave. So swallow the awkwardness, write to your workplace or call them on the phone and tell them, please can I have my 161 form? They have to get it to you within about a month, a month of your termination. So you're going to want to have all those things, and then you want to fill in all the information on this registration for Lishkat Ta'asukah. There's one in every city in Israel, every major city. I don't know if there are small towns have, but every major city has one. So once you've filled this out, then you have to actually show up in person. This is a bit of a bummer, but you have to do it. Now, if you are severely disabled, as I was, you can ask them for a little bit of leniency. So they will have their own panel so they have an option. Most people will have to show up every week at the unemployment office, but you can request for them to review your case. You can tell them, look, I'm disabled, I'm just waiting for my official stamp from Bituach Leumi. You know the process takes a long time. Yes, they do know. So they will offer you an option of only coming in once a month, which is much better. So, but you might have to show up first and talk to a couple people. So they'll give you a date. Until then, go in every week. I know it's hard, but find a way, get some help, get a friend to drive you, unless it's downtown, in which case take a bus, and that will help very much in the financial front. Now, once you've gotten through that panel, it's not a particularly threatening process. Okay, basically they didn't really even ask me anything. I just kind of showed up, gave them my forms, and they were like, okay, cool, see you. And then within a few days, they said, sure, come in once a month. So then you have to show up. You have to show up that once a month, and then they will provide your unemployment stipend. You're gonna wonder how much you get. The truth is, I don't know. The Bituach Leumi office calculates it, and they take into account how much you made in your previous job, as well as how some kind of approximation of what your expenses are, and if you have any dependents, they will factor all of that in. Your age, they'll factor everything in. It's not gonna be a lot, but it is gonna be helpful. So that is the unemployment state. Again, just to avoid further confusion, the money that will go into your account for your unemployment will be from Hamosad Bituach Leumi and not from Lishkat Ta'asuka. Those are two sort of separate entities, but ultimately I think of it like this. Hamosad Bituach Leumi has all the money, Lishkat Ta'asuka does all the work. So that's what that is. Okay, now on to the first and most important step in this process. You're going to go to the Bituach Leumi website and you're going to file the claim online. Now, you can also print out the forms and do it by hand. You can probably send it in the mail and you can probably send it by fax, but online obviously is the best and quickest way to do it. So I'm going to just go through with you what you need to do. So this is their website. You're going to look for this button, Hagashat Tfasim Mekuvanim, because that means virtual forms that you can send in online. Now, it depends on why you are asking for a stipend. They have all sorts of options here. The one that I did was a disability for reasons of mental health. So that is under, let's see, it's called Kitzbat Nechut Klalit. That means a general disability, and they have all sorts of different reasons why for that disability, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something permanent. It doesn't necessarily have to be something physical. Of course, I just need to find it. Hello. Okay. תביעה לקצבת נכות כללית ובקשה להענקה מטעמי צדק. This looks like it might be it. הטופס מיועד למי שעקב ליקוי גופני, שכלי או נפשי איבדו את כושרם להשתכר, או שכושרם להשתכר יצמצם ב-50%. Okay, this is the one. So we're going to click on this button, Milui, and that is going to open the digital form. Now, a word about this form. There's going to be a lot of information they're going to ask you for, and you're going to want to do it in one sitting and send it in but mistakes happen, you accidentally press refresh, you're going to lose all your answers. So one thing you can do up here is this button, Yitsu, which will export the form in some kind of in an internet form file, and then if you accidentally press refresh or you lose all your data for some reason, you can open it again and you can import all the answers you already gave. So that is a handy thing to do every so often. Don't be tempted to press this, that's not going to make any difference. So what you should prepare, again, any payment slips, any pay slips that you've had from the past 15 months, a letter from any professional that you've been seeing, if it's a doctor or a psychiatrist or a therapist, anybody you've seen, all of them, as many as will write you letters, you should get that letter, you should get it scanned. You can do that from your phone through Google Scans. It's pretty good. Upload it, put them all in a file somewhere, and have them all ready to upload. One thing is, I think this website only accepts PDF or JPEGs, so have them in one of those formats. Okay, let's see. Got everything. Your Teudat Zehut, and if you have your 161 form, if you have your letter from your work that says you were fired, that is good to have on hand as well. So we're going to scroll down and go to Shlav Haba. Now this first step asks for all of your personal information. אני מגיש את התביעה עבורי או עבור מישהו אחר. If it's you, you click that. If you're helping someone, you click that. But if the person is sitting right next to you, say that it's them. Okay. Now, name, last name, Teudat Zehut, male or female, date of birth, Tarikh Hanpakat Teudat Zehut, that's the date that your Teudat Zehut was printed. Once you fill this in, Bituach Leumi is going to kind of like, the website is going to sort of think about it for a second, and then it's going to lock this section once it recognizes you as a real person who is registered in their database. So fill this all in, and then this is going to be locked. If everything is correct, it's going to be locked. Matzav Mishpachti. This is, they want to know if you have like a professional assisting you. So if you're going through an organization such as Yad Mechavenet, that will show up here. But if you're just doing it on your own, even if a friend is helping you, they're not interested in that. So just write no. Okay. Phones, emails, give them your phone, give them your email, because you do want to be able to receive messages telling you what the status is of your claim and whether you received money. Agree to receive general messages. Yes, you do want to get things digitally rather than in the mail. Come on, we know not to send stuff in the mail. Make sure all these details here are correct. This thing, ma'an lemichtavim im shoneh mehaktovet. So if your address, if your mailing address is different than your address which is registered in Misrad HaPnim, which often it is if you've moved recently and haven't gotten it updated, do give them your correct mailing address. Down here they want your bank account info, and that's all. Okay. If there's another name on the bank account other than yours, that's what that is. Okay. Next step, the Shlav Haba. Your work history in the past 15 months. If you weren't working, or you were and you stopped working, or if you're still working. All of those scenarios are legitimate. They just want to know what's happening. So, if you received any... So this down here wants to know, this is like, for example, if you broke your arm and you weren't able to work for a couple of months, and then you got money from Bituach Leumi, that's the kind of thing. Not if you took a single sick day and got paid for it. They're not interested in that. Okay. If you had any other income, such as pension, tmicha letalmidei yeshivot, mizunot, anything here, that's what they want to know. If you haven't, just say no. I think if you say, I am working, I'm pretty sure this is going to open up the field where they want all of your information about your workplace. So they want to know, the name of your workplace, the physical address, whatever phone number, what kind of an organization it is. And that's it. This is not the part for files yet. Now, this step, stage 4, is for information about your disability. If you have more than one, you can tell them all the different kinds. If you've been to see a doctor, you're going to say, yes, nivdakti etzel rofeh. When, this date, were you in the hospital, yes or no? And then, if you have, so this is you're going to be your main symptom up here. So, for example, if you're suffering from depression and also, ADHD, but your main complaint right now is depression, this is the first one you're going to fill in. Then, when you're done filling this in, you can add down here, oh, by the way, I also have ADHD, and I was diagnosed by such and such doctor on such and such date, etc. Okay. If you have had any of these checks, any of these checkups, any of these tests, you can say that. If your disability was the result of an accident, if you have gone to Misrad HaBitachon if this happened during your army service for the reason of this disability. Basically here what they want to know is, did it happen while you were in the army, and are you getting help from the army? And if you have gotten help from either of these offices in the past year. Okay? Now you're going to just say, yes, I agree, everything I wrote above is correct, and I agree for you guys to know that these are my details, and to summon me to actually do your own checkups. So this is the thing. You don't want them to make your decision without you. You do want to go and see their doctors, because that's how they're going to decide to give you help. You don't want them to decide it by themselves without you being there. They are going to send you a letter and say, please come to the sniff of Bituach Leumi to see this doctor, that doctor, on such and such date. Go, get the checkups, and that will increase your chances by a lot to actually getting help from them. So, yes, so you do want to check this box. Okay, next step. Step 5 is basically, do you want to send this in by the internet or by fax or mail? Obviously not. You want to check the internet. Great. The last stage, which I can't open right now because I haven't actually filled out the form, is going to ask you for all of your forms, all of your attachments. So this is your letters. So this is, again, your letter from your doctor and any other professionals that you've seen stating what your current situation is. You are going to want your pay slips from your workplace, your 161, your letter that says you are fired, all of these things. You want all of them. You want also, there's one more thing they're going to ask for, right? Which is Vitur al Sodiyut Refuit. So let me see if I can find it. I think they used to have a form here where you could just download it and fill it out. Here we go. להדפסת טופס ויתור סודיות רפואית לחץ כאן. So open this, download it. You can fill it out if you have a PDF reading for a program like Foxit or Adobe Acrobat. You can just fill it out in your PDF and save it. And it just says, basically, I agree for you to read my medical documents that I'm sending you. That's all. It's and to, you know, send it to the relevant doctors that are going to consult on my case. So you do want to have this filled out and ready when you open the Bituach Leumi claim. I'm just gonna ask for your Tudat Zehut, the date, your name, and if you are a Kupat Cholim, if you are in a Kupat Cholim, sign, date, that's all. Okay. So now once you have filled out all of the stages and you've uploaded all of your documents up here, sometimes they have trouble with their server and there can be a spotty connection, or maybe the website is overloaded, or I don't know what, but the point is sometimes the form will not immediately send. Do this, go to Yitzu here and export the information so you can try again in a couple minutes or in a couple hours. Don't just leave it hanging, okay? Because it's been a lot of work so far. You've probably already spent about 30 minutes filling out all the information, asking people, do you remember the address of blah, blah, blah. So you're going to want to export that and save it somewhere you remember. And then once you press on Shlach, which is going to be at the bottom here somewhere on this page, make sure there will be a sign, there will be a pop-up on your screen that says Bakashatech nishlecha be'atzlacha, or Tviatech nishlecha be'atzlacha, or something like that. If you do not see that pop-up, first of all, give it a minute because it can sometimes take a little while, but be patient, click on the Shlach, wait, and if a pop-up pops up that says it hasn't been sent successfully, then try again. And if the second time doesn't work, come back in a few hours and try again. And if that doesn't work, come back the next day and try again. Just the website is sometimes a little bit unreliable, but it's still better than trying to get all the, drive downtown and find parking and walk into the office and then wait God knows how long in line and hand it in person, or take the risk of having it getting lost in a pile of faxes somewhere. So you are going to want to just persevere. Eventually, on the third or fourth try, the TOEFS will be sent in and you will get an email confirmation to the email that you submitted in the first stage, which is why it's important to give them an accurate email address. Okay, once you get that confirmation email, step 1 is over. Congratulations. Once you have sent in your form and then you can just put it to rest. Now you're going to go to Lishkat HaTa'asukah and you're going to file for unemployment. That will help because it will take probably a month, 2 months for them to even get back to you from Bituach Leumi. So once you get, the next thing you're going to get from Bituach Leumi is probably a request to come in for a doctor's visit. They're going to schedule 1 or 2 doctors depending on what kind of claim you're asking for, and then they're going to set some time, go see the doctors. It doesn't take very long. I waited a little bit, maybe 20 minutes. It wasn't really terribly long. So you go and you see the doctors. You're going to actually talk to people there, and they're going to ask you over again, even as if you haven't submitted all this information that already exists. They're going to ask you what the problem is. tell them what is going on. Be honest. Tell them what you're struggling with, and just be clear, be very clear with how bad it is. Be very clear about why you can't work, because don't underplay it. When I was struggling with this, I was working at the New Israel Fund, and I couldn't hold my hands up to type on a keyboard for more than 15 minutes. And I told them that in the interview. I said, look, I work in an office and I can't hold up my hands, so I can't work. And I just really explained to them how bad my symptoms were, and how that really impacted my ability to function and to keep a job. And that is important. Another thing that I said when I went into the Bituach Leumi offices is we were talking about the process of, what kind of treatment I was seeking out. So I said, yes, I have a psychiatrist, I have a therapist, I have a doctor, I have this we're doing this medical testing and that medical testing, I've seen this specialist and that specialist, and I said, but you know how it is, it takes a long time. Even, let's say my doctor said, why don't you go see a neurologist? And even to see a neurologist, I still have to wait, 3 months, sometimes 6, sometimes 9. There still is a long process, even if I'm working on maybe getting better one day. So what I need is time. In the meantime, I can't work, and so I can't pay my bills, and I just need time to get better without the burden of financial instability, which is very difficult, and I'm not going to be able to get better if I'm just, if I'm evicted from my apartment, or I don't know what. So that's what I said, and I think they heard that. So they did mess it up the first time, because they went in and they asked me to see an orthopedist and a general doctor, and then they forgot to request for me to see a psychiatrist. So I actually had to wait another month and go back in again to see their psychiatrist. And then after that all happened, then it was still like a couple more weeks before they finally got back to me with the answer that I had been approved for such and such disability and such kosher avodah, which are two separate things. Okay. So when you get your answer from Bituach Leumi, if they approve something for you, there are two different things that they're going to approve. You get percentages of disability, nechut, and you get a percentage of kosher avodah, which is your inability to work. And those are going to be different numbers. The important one for getting your money at the moment is going to be kosher avodah. And anything above 70 or 75%, I think, warrants you basically the full disability stipend. So if they decide that you are really unable to work, then they will give you the benefit of however much money it is a month. Your nechut is a different story. I'm not entirely sure what exactly that determines, but here is another important thing to know. You'll get an email from Bituach Leumi, you'll get official forms, and there are a lot of things you can do with that. Once you are approved, there are things you don't necessarily know that you can get. But the first thing you can get is discounts. So you can get discounts for Arnona. You can get discounts from the electric company and the water company, and you can get a discount at the movies, and you can get a discount on your Ravkav. And all of those things are, they might be a little bit of an effort, but Some of them are really worth it. The Arnona discount is usually huge. For the Ravkav, basically just go to a Ravkav station and tell them you want to do a Ravkav Neche, and they will put an automatic, usually it's a 33% discount on your Ravkav, and then you can, you just show them, if you haven't gotten this yet, you just show them your email, your letter, your confirmation letter from Bituach Leumi stating your percentages, and they'll give you they'll just apply the discount on onto your Ravkav, or maybe they'll print you a new one, I don't know. But the point is, it is very quick, and then you get a discount on your bus rides, and your train rides. Arnona, also, I didn't give them my card, I just showed them the letter, and they were fine with that. So, and they approved me like the same day, like while I was sitting there in the office. They approved my discount of 80% on Arnona. The thing is, though, if you haven't applied for a discount on Arnona, you do need to have your name on the lease, and that is, or a letter from your landlord stating that you do indeed live there. So that is the Arnona, and let's see. Okay, so you should expect one of these in the mail. It's gonna come in the mail, and it's gonna probably take a long time because Dor Israel is terrible. This card has your name and your Teudat Zehut on it, and it doesn't state what type of disability or what your percentages are. It just says that it's a disability card. And mine has an expiration date because my disability stipend has an expiration date. So you do want to pay attention to that, because you might be approved for a certain amount of time, and then once that time is up, you might have to start the process over again. So yeah, once you get this, you don't have to wait in lines. That's the thing. Especially, I had a lot of trouble standing up during my really, really, really bad times. So don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. Don't be afraid to ask for the help that you deserve. And I hope that things get better for you. And I hope that this helped. If you found this video helpful, please do give me a little support on social media. So subscribe to my AuthorTube channel. Here's the link. That's my main channel where I post my writing videos and I talk about my book, which is awesome. And I'll let you know when it comes out so you can enjoy it. And give me a follow on, I don't know, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. And and if you found it helpful, please like the video, leave a comment below, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have. So I hope that things work out, and best of luck.